Hearthstone is a free-to-play card game created by Blizzard and set in the Warcraft universe. It's just had its 10th anniversary and has had a ton of changes over the years, some good and some not. So today let's talk about if Hearthstone is worth playing in 2024. So it released as basically a player v player card game with one main game mode, where you battle against other players to climb the rankings of who's the best Hearthstone player. But since then, there's been lots of new additions to the game. There's single player adventures, a really fun mode called Battlegrounds, which plays like a team fight tactics kind of auto chess game. There's a duels mode, a mercenaries mode where you can level up heroes, and they've added a lot to the game. But over the years, they've also added to the cash shop. So let's go over it all. First up, let's talk about the new player experience. As a new player or someone coming back to the game after a long time, are you too far behind? Is it too late to start? That's a worry that I think we have with lots of games, especially games like this, where the game evolves and grows over time. But there is some really good catch-up they've put in that I want to talk about. First up is the catch-up packs. So when you come back to this game and you complete your tutorial and you go through the initial quests, you'll start receiving things called catch-up packs, which these were added at the end of last year, and they reward between 5 and 50 cards. So a normal pack of cards in Hearthstone is a 5-card pack with a chance to get rare cards and a chance to get legendaries. But these catch-up packs have up to 50, and these packs are based on how many cards from that set you already have. So someone, if you've played it a long time, if you've played the current set a long time and you open this pack, you might get 10 cards. But a brand new player or returning player that has never opened a pack from a new set can get 50 cards, which is a huge catch-up. And yeah, as a new player, you might open multiple of these packs, and it really does help fill out your collection and make you not feel as new and make you feel like the gap between you and the current players isn't as big as it might seem. The next big catch-up is the seasonal rotation. So this is something that probably intimidates a lot of people until they understand it. The most commonly played version of the game, or the traditional set, is where you play with the standard set of cards, which means the most current cards in the game. Keeping it simple, these are sets of the core cards, so when the game released, at the start of the game, and then the most recent expansions. So every year as a new expansion comes out, expansions from the prior year will be removed from the rotation of play. So no matter when you come back to the game, you only have a few sets of cards to collect rather than like 29 expansions worth of cards. You always have to fill out your core set, and then you fill out the new expansions with the current players. So you kind of don't have to worry about the last 8 years of expansions that have come out. They're all like archived now. They're like gone into the wild. You don't have to worry about them. And the only other barrier to entry for a new player is the knowledge gap. And unfortunately, that hasn't gone away. That hasn't been archived. The amount of terminology and systems in the game has grown and grown and grown. But there are things that make this not so bad. And I want to talk about that in the content of the game. So I want to talk about the different modes of gameplay and the ones that are good for new players and the ones that are not so good. So let's start first with the traditional Hearthstone mode. So this is the one that's been around since the very start. This is the normal gameplay mode where you play against other people with decks you build yourself. You can play casual or you can play ranked. And ranked Hearthstone is kind of like the core of the game when it came out, and it's still really popular today. This is like where you rank up through bronze, silver, gold, that kind of stuff, and then your reward at the end of that season based on how high you get. If you get to the near the top, you hit the legend rank, where instead of having a rank, you're given a number, which is your position in the leaderboard of all the other players and where you rank for that season. This is the most competitive and the core of Hearthstone. And all the big streamers or people who compete professionally flex their legendary rank as you know how far they've got. And if you've never played Hearthstone before, this is a turn-based builder style of gameplay. You build your deck before the fight based on certain characters, card types, or synergies. And then during the fight, you start with 1 mana. You can summon a 1 mana character. The next turn, you summon a 2 mana card. Your mana is burned between turns, and you slowly build up to your gameplay. There are minions, spells, secrets, buffs, weapons, and more. And every turn, you draw 1 card, and you play the minions and spells until you run out of mana. Your ultimate goal is to control the board and put your enemy's health to 0. The winner ranks up, the loser ranks down. And there is one issue you will face as a new or returning player, and that is the amount of terminology involved in a normal game of Hearthstone. Cards have effects on them, and over the years we've got more and more of these effects. You hover over the card and you can see what effect it has. For example, Battle Cry means the card does something when it's played. Death Rattle means it does something when it dies. Rush means that you can attack on the same turn you play the card. And there are more and more and more of terms like this that you need to learn. That's just 3 of a pool of terms that you need to get accustomed to. On top of this, there's the secrets, the weapons, the hero powers. Every hero has a different power. There's legendary cards that do something completely unique. And it can be extremely overwhelming. And this is the one red flag I would give to the game as, is it good in 2024? Is it good for a new player? Is it good for a returning player? Because this is not a good experience. It has developed 10 years of systems and complexity that layer and layer on top of each other. And even myself, who's played on and off since the beta, since the very start of the game, I get into a game and someone does some crazy one-hit combo on me and I don't even understand how I lost the game. So if you're willing to take the time and learn all the moves and the abilities and the keywords, this game is incredible and it's very complex, it's very fun. But if you want to just jump in the game, make a deck and have fun, it might be a bit too much for you. It might be a little bit too overwhelming. So yeah, if that sounds too much, collecting cards, catching up with the seasons, opening packs, and learning all the new cards and abilities, there's a new mode. There's a mode that is probably the best thing they've ever done to Hearthstone that I recommend everyone tries at least once. And that is called Battlegrounds. This is personally my favorite. It plays like an auto chess, kind of like TFT. You don't need a single card to go in there. There's no entry fee. There's no blocker that puts you and a veteran at a different starting point in TFT. You're placed in a game with a group of other players and you all choose a starting hero that has a unique power. And then you're placed into the battlegrounds. Everyone goes in and only one person can win. And your goal is to knock everybody else out and win the battleground. So this works similar to normal Hearthstone, but it's more of a you choose what to do in between the rounds and then your cards play them out automatically in the fight, which is why you don't need as much experience to just get stuck in. You don't need to know everything because your cards will kind of do their own thing. You just need to set them up and it's a great place to learn. So every round you have an amount of gold and you can buy a card from the tavern, and then each turn your max gold goes up by 1 and you can buy a stronger card. And it's your goal to manage your team of cards. So you can spend your gold on spells, you can spend your gold on upgrading the tavern to make the cards stronger. If you want to play a long game, you can buy lots of cards early and have a really strong early game. And at the end of every round, you're matched against a random player and you two fight it out. Both of your teams fight each other. They fight from left to right and the winner wins and the loser loses health. So you get attacked by the enemy player and you take health point damage. And yeah, your goal is to come out on top. This is incredible for new players because you have a lot of time to learn all the abilities and the different cards in the game. You can every round has a limited amount of card types. So maybe there'll be elementals, murlocs, and mechs in the game for that round. And then the next round, there'll be different ones. So you have time to learn a certain mechanic every game without being thrown into everything all at once. Say you want to try a battle cry deck. You can make minions that all have that battle cry word on them and try and play on that. Say you want to make machines that have synergies with Death Rattle. You can do that because you only have a limited amount of cards and you have the time to look through them all and read what they all do. I got friends into Hearthstone in the past and told them about this mode. They joined and they only play this mode. They love it. And that's good. I think it's good that they have a mode like this that is not only fun for new players, but it stands out on its own as a really fun way to play the game. And there's other modes too. There's not just these 2 modes. There's single player adventures, some of which are purchasable and some are free, where you fight against AI for rewards. These kind of were really popular when they came out years ago, but not so much so now. There's Duels, which is kind of like a roguelike deck builder adventure game mode. There's Mercenaries, where you take a group of heroes and you fight them against one another and they level up and get new skills. Kind of like one of those like battler, Shadow Legend, one of the phone battler games, that kind of thing. There's Arena, where you're given 3 options of cards and you have to make a deck out of them. And then you get rewards based on how many matches you win. I can't really go over every single mode because there's so much in the game right now. But just know there is more than you might remember. There is a lot of different ways to play the game and there's a lot of different modes depending on what you're interested in. So I'd definitely say if you've been out of the loop for a while, come check in because there's a lot of new stuff here and a lot of it is free. Now for the controversy. Is Hearthstone pay to win? It wouldn't be a video talking about a Blizzard game if we didn't talk about a cash shop, would it? So Hearthstone is a free-to-play card game. And there's tons of content here that makes this game incredible. And if you're playing something like Battlegrounds or you're just playing casually, then no, this is not pay to win. This is just a free, fun game where you can buy cosmetics, characters, and other things. And you can have hundreds, if not thousands of hours here without ever needing to think about spending any money. However, if you're looking to play the traditional Hearthstone mode, or I believe some of the other modes that are also quite competitive when they get to the progression side, then you're going to have an issue. Every single expansion, they release over 100 new cards. And within these are super powerful legendaries and elite cards that have super low drop chances in the card packs. So you work towards a pack, you open the pack, there's 5 cards. Do you get a legendary? Probably not. So you got to open another one. Your only way to get these is to do your tavern quests and open packs, but you will reach a point where you still need more cards, or you're trying to make like a meta deck, a really powerful deck that everyone's using, and you don't have those really rare cards. And there is no faster way to get them than to buy them. At the time of recording this, there's a new expansion planned called Whizbang's Workshop, and there's an offer in the store to buy the Whizbang Mega Bundle. 2 legendary cards and 90 packs of cards for only £70 or $90. $90. There's no way as a free player you can ever compete with that. You can slowly earn packs and slowly complete your collection. There's a system where you can disenchant cards for dust and then rebuild them out of dust, but it's very slow. And everything you do as a free-to-play a free-to-play player pales in comparison to the progression you get from just buying. And on day 1 of an expansion, there are whales. On day 1 of an expansion, you are playing with a free-to-play deck. Maybe you've opened 5 or 10 packs. If you're lucky, you might have got 1 rare card, 1 legendary card. You're going to be playing against meta decks with multiple new legendaries in. So yeah, the main mode is extremely pay to win. However, there are many modes in the game which you can't pay to win. I mostly play Battlegrounds nowadays and then dip back into the competitive ladder when there's a new expansion coming out, but I don't hard sweat it because I just want to play with the cards I've got. Because trying to keep up with the amount of cards in the game is tiring, expensive, and it never ends. So overall, it's getting long. Should you play Hearthstone in 2024? That was the question. Yes, yeah, you should. I definitely recommend Hearthstone. It's one of the most fun turn-based card games I've ever played. The amount of strategy and depth is huge. There are now so many fun modes that are completely free. You can download the game today for free and spend the next month playing Battlegrounds, increasing your collection, doing arenas, trying the different modes, and not spend a single penny. The base game is also completely possible to be played for free. You can progress, you can climb the ladder, and you can even hit legend as a free-to-play character. But just be aware, there are lots of different parts of the game where you will funnel into a roadblock, and that roadblock is removed by the cash shop. And at the competitive rank level, just be prepared to play against whales. That's the nature of the game at this point. If you're new or returning player, I'd 100% recommend coming back. Try Hearthstone, try Battlegrounds, try the new Mercenaries, try Duels mode, and try all the new cool cards that have been added in the last few years. And then once you get a feel for it, try making a deck, play some of the traditional game. Just be ready for a steep learning curve if you haven't played in a while. But Hearthstone is constantly getting updates, new expansions, sets, modes are added all the time, and it's one of the few games in the genre that not only survived the test of time, but has improved. These are all just my opinions though. I'd love to hear what you think in the comments. Have you tried Hearthstone in the past? Are you thinking about coming back? Or is there something you dislike? Let me know. And that's it from me. I hope this has helped. If you've seen the 10th anniversary, the cross World of Warcraft promotion maybe, and you're looking, is Hearthstone still going? What is that game like now? Then yeah, I hope this has helped. If it has, subscribe for more, like the video, let me know in the comments, stuff like that. But that's it from me. I won't ramble on. Take care, and I'll catch you on the next one.